But I must admit, I think we're going over the top a bit. I really do think we're going over the top, and I really do think we better be careful. There was some good performances. I mean, the main one that stands out for me was obviously Calvin Phillips. I wasn't even too sure if he was, someone who should have been in the squad. But I'll eat my words. I know Nathan championed him when we was doing that show for the 26, and he said he should be in there, and he was spot on. Sterling, I wasn't as happy as him as what other people thought at the beginning. I thought he was making some great runs. I thought he was using his pace well. But I thought that final ball wasn't there. But I think in the second half, I think Southgate must have pulled him over and said exactly the same thing, because he came out and he started doing things. And he was making things count, and he scored the goal straight away. I thought it was an all right performance. I thought it was decent. I thought Walker looked shaky in parts. Still worried about the centre back performances. I can't help it. I had my energy, my managers out on, through that game a lot. I kept on thinking about what's to come and teams I've seen played already. I don't think we should get too carried away just yet. But at the end of the day, none of that matters. We've got 3 points.
Exactly.
We move on. Next game's going to be Scotland. No, it's not Scotland, is it? Next game's against who is it we got next?
No, it's Scotland, isn't it?
Is it against Scotland?
Yeah, I think it's Scotland, yeah.
That's going to be difficult. I do think we're going to have to play a lot better than this today. But as I said, 3 points. That's all that matters in the bag. Probably end up being top of the group. So, yeah, we move on.
Nathan, what did you think on today's performance?
I think England started off very, very well. Obviously, controlled the game, wouldn't let them out. Whenever they got on the ball, shut them down. So they did really well with that, and obviously started really brightly. Foden getting that chance, really good runs in behind. I just love the way they were running in behind and making things happen. It's just the end product at the end. We didn't really, in the end of that first half, you're looking at it going, we were that much more dominant, but we didn't really have any clear-cut chances. You know what I mean? You had the one Foden shot, which would have been a great finish. But other than that, it wasn't really much else. And I was thinking, you were going to have to do a lot more than that when it comes to the bigger teams, especially when we're in that much control of a game. And that's what's a bit concerning, is it only ended 1-0. And they didn't have much. They were toothless pretty much for the whole game, Croatia. And you can see their legs are, they're getting on now. They really are getting on, but the majority of the team. And so we did okay. Second half comes, and obviously we make them few changes as well. Sterling gets his goal. Great run from Calvin in the first place. And then their defending is sliding and missing the ball. But he's seen Sterling making that run again. In behind, he slid him in perfectly, and he's got a good connection to it. So we managed to get that first goal, and we didn't look back from then, to be fair. But I just would have liked to see when the players coming on, Rashford and all them. It's like the game. I don't know. I think we need to just get them into the game a bit more. I want to see Grealish coming into the squad, into the team. I want to see the other flair players, so it's more fun. At the moment, I'm watching, and it was good. Like I said, I understand what Steve's saying. It was okay. It wasn't great, but we had control of the game. Obviously, Mings did really well defensively, I think. Walker did well defensively. Nothing really going forward. And that was really what it was. There's a lot to work on, but I think we put ourselves in a great position, because I think we'll beat Scotland next game for sure.
Jerome, what did you think of the game? How are you feeling now?
Look, ultimately, it didn't really matter. Look, we all want to watch a great game and watch us play well, but ultimately, it's the points. It's the points that matter now, isn't it? And it's one of those. I think people say, so when you're in a tournament, your performances maybe build up a bit, because maybe you become a bit more used to playing with the players. I thought there was a point in the game when I think some stats came up, maybe with about 70 minutes gone, and I think England had 2 shots on target. We just couldn't get Harry Kane in the game, could we? When you're watching him play for his club, he looks so dangerous. And when you're watching him for England, it's like, or maybe not for England, but today, it's a shame we couldn't really get him involved. So, but yeah, you can't knock it today. I agree with Steve. I think, people may be going slightly overboard, but yeah, very happy with the win. And it's not the same Croatia as we faced a few years ago, is it? In the World Cup, you can tell they're a different side. Modric is still, you can tell he's still class, like his touches, his flicks. But yeah, great start. And move on to the next game. And he's got some decisions now, Southgate. He's got even more, I think, because I don't think he can touch that midfield with Calvin Phillips and Rice. I think you can't drop either of them. Interesting to see what he does with the forward players, if he gives someone a rest or, because it was hot out there today, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So, but yeah, overall positive and very, very happy.
Yeah, I think it was a very encouraging performance. I don't remember the last time England in the first game looked better than that. You always start really badly in the first game in tournaments. In fact, I've seen us lose a few as well. Look, we can say it's a not as great Croatia team as previously, which it definitely isn't. But when we gave them time, when we sat off, they started getting into the game. So it's a team that could be dangerous if we let them be, and we got back on that in the end. I thought that Calvin Phillips was exceptional throughout the game, winning challenges, quality passing, set up the goal. And Gareth Southgate as well. Look, we do it before every game, whether it's our club or our country, and we pick apart a team and question why certain players are playing in positions. And he look, whatever we say, he got it right. He got the result. There could have been things that are done better, but we got the 1-0 win, and as we've all said, that's the most important thing. Who would you say your standout players were today, then, Steve?
Standout players, we've all said the player Calvin Phillips. I mean, absolutely outstanding. Right from the first minute, winning tackles, breaking up play, fantastic ball through for the goal. Man in the match. I'm sure we'll get man in the match. And just like Jerome just said, there's no, he's undroppable now for the first game. He may have very well cemented his place there for the whole tournament. Other than that, Sterling was busy. He was very busy. His final ball wasn't there. Many times, sometimes he got it caught up in his feet, but he kept going and he kept trying. So that's all you can ask. And he got his goal. So he deserves a mention. The others did a job. The others did a job. They did a bit. And they wasn't outstanding, but especially Calvin Phillips and Sterling definitely deserve a good pat the back and a nice cold bath after one whistle.
Yeah, they're going to be absolutely burning up. Nathan, who do you think was your standout players today? Maybe other than Calvin Phillips.
To be fair, Calvin Phillips did really well. I think Tyrone Mings did well, to be fair. You know what? When you're showing the highlights at half-time as well, showing everything that he did, he's in the right place. He played that ball in behind as well for Sterling when they fouled him. He recovered really well as well. I think if that was Maguire, he would have had a problem at one of them ones where, the player ran in behind. I think it was Rebic at the time. And Tyrone Mings got in behind him again, got right back in goal side, and then kicked the ball out. I think that might have been a problem for someone like Maguire. Just getting back there, that could have been a chance for them. So I think all in all, he did really well. He looked very accomplished, looked calm on the ball. I liked what I saw from him. So it's not something where you can say, oh, he looked shaky or anything. He looked really good. And we'd like to see him against obviously better opposition and see what he can do then. But for the time being, the way things are, I was quite happy with that. And even Trippier did well from left back, putting some balls in behind. There's only once where he got down the left and then he ended up cutting back. And you just know, when you see that, you just think, if you at the shore there, you might better put that ball in and Kane gets a chance. You know what
And
I mean? So,
I think they did mention that once, but I didn't feel like it was as rigid as I thought it would be. So I think he did well, like you said.
So yeah, Mings is another one. I think he did pretty well. Obviously, Foden did okay earlier. Then he kind of went a bit quiet. Yeah, to be fair, it's Calvin Phillips. To be fair, he was the most dominant that you can think of altogether. But it's close behind. I think Mings made it good. He did really well.
Yeah. Jerome, what are you saying? Who's your star man?
Yeah, hard to disagree with what the boys have said. Probably none of the forward players, but just someone that does not put. I just don't think he puts a foot wrong. Is Declan Rice? Like probably no one really. He's one of those that he sort of goes under the radar. He's you give him the ball even if he's under pressure, and he looks excellent. And what's going to be important for England is to keep him fit because he is so important in that centre of the pitch. I know Calvin Phillips today will get all the plaudits, and rightly so, but he's Declan Rice and another. I guess he's like an unsung hero, isn't he? Declan Rice, I suppose. The way he plays,
keeps it moving, doesn't he?
Keeps
it moving, and you don't realise that is so important to your team being fluid. So yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
If not for Declan Rice today or any other time, Calvin Phillips isn't making them runs because Calvin Phillips is the one that's sitting back. So it needs Declan Rice and to have someone behind him that he's confident is going to keep that position to make them runs as well, because that's not really Calvin Phillips' usual game. But where he was just breaking away from the midfield. It was quality. It gave us a different dimension. So, and I think if we could be more fluid like that, it takes away from having to necessarily have that key man who's going to be that creative spark. If you're using, as I think it was Steve, you mentioned it, you're a bit like Liverpool. I know Liverpool have got Firmino, but they use the press, they use their athleticism as well as that creative side as well. So I think if we can do that and have players running off, then I think we'll do well. So I think we've done well today. We got the win, and may it continue. Scotland next. It's going to be a tough side, tough one. It's like a derby, home nation. They're going to be up for it. But we'll get to see what they're saying in the next. When they playing? Is it today or tomorrow?
Tomorrow.
They're playing tomorrow. Yeah, so we'll get to see what they're about tomorrow. See whether they're about it. Should be a good one. Prediction. Sorry, we've said the man of the match. All right, cool. Tonight, 8:00. Steve, you're on, aren't you? For a little review of the Euros. Yeah. So you can catch us tonight for a little review of the Euros, how it's gone so far. Steve's early prediction of Italy looked absolutely devastating in the early doors against Turkey. So Steve's little prediction's doing well there. Make sure you catch us tonight at 8:00, where you can get a little rundown of the week's Euro 2020 review. Thanks for everyone who has joined us today. Break a leg there. What's he saying? He's saying that Kane looked unfit. First game, Jerome's right performance will go up. So I don't know how they get Kane more into the game. Maybe a few changes. Maybe a Grealish can get him more into the game. I don't know. Be a tough one. But join us tonight at 8:00 for the review. Peace out, people. Stay safe and wash your hands.